Alright, so it's time to do the Marvel Cinematic Universe films. A few notes. This is only the movies. Second note. I am not going to own Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. I have every other MCU film up to this point. My future with collecting Marvel films is rocky, due to the paths they're choosing to go down. But Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness is one film I will not own, because it is way too demonic, overly violent and dark, and is just completely not what I wanted from it. Even if I didn't have those spiritual issues with it, and I owned it, I still wouldn't like it. But add all of that together and you've got a dumpster fire, I will not own that film. I don't hate Sam Raimi. I like what he did with the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man films. I just don't like that film. I really don't. Anyways, yeah, I'm not owning it. Too much for me. But I'm just going to go through the Marvel films here, the ones that I do own. I'm going to go through these pretty quickly, because there's 30 of them? 30, almost 40. We're just going to go through all the way from the beginning, in timeline order, and just go down the list. Captain America, the First Avenger. Got this at a Goodwill. My old copy was apparently from Australia, and so it did not work in my player. Actually, it was from the UK. My mistake. Captain Marvel. I know this film's gotten a lot of unnecessary hate. I really like it. I actually do. I think it's a good movie. I think it's enjoyable. But I do think the third act was a bit not that exciting. I like all the stuff with her flying around in space. I don't like the final battle where it's her versus the Kree leader. It's just really lame, punching him into a cliff and that's it. I don't like it. I get what they were trying to do character-wise, but I just don't like it. It's really boring. Iron Man from 2008. This is a really good film. I think I got this at a Savers, the one in Vacaville. This is the film that reminds you that a hero does not have to be perfect. They can have flaws, and it's usually through some flaws that makes them become a hero. It's a really good story. I've watched this film at least 3 times. 2 or 3 times. I really like it. Iron Man 2, I also really like. I've seen this one at least 2 times, maybe 3. Maybe I'm being a little generous. Yeah, I think it's a really good film. It is muddled by the studio notes and the fact that it is basically a Frankenstein film with different storylines, but still, it's really enjoyable, and I also like the slipcover. This is pretty cool. Half-price books one there. The Incredible Hulk, which I also got at half-price books. I can't stand this movie. It is so boring. That's the issue with it. It isn't spiritually dark. It isn't overly violent. It's just so boring. And I think that's it. It's just boring. I don't like it. And I don't even think you could fix it with, a re-edit, because I think it's fundamentally just boring. I think the scenes in it are just not interesting. I'm sorry to say that, but I don't like The Incredible Hulk. Thor, though. Thor's a pretty good one. The Thor franchise was it was kind of a wild ride, I'll say. If you had the quality on a graph, it would definitely have some rocky spots. The Avengers from 2012. I got this at Savers in Vacaville. I think this is a good movie. I enjoy it. Iron Man 3. I don't hate this as much as everyone else. It's basically Sherlock Holmes, but it's Iron Man, and it's also, a comedy at the last minute. Yeah, I totally get it when people say they don't like this film, because the first half of it is so well done. And then the final act with the twist and everything is just not good. No, I don't like it. But you got Ant-Man, not Ant-Man, Thor the Dark World. I'm gonna be honest, I really like this movie. This feels like Lord of the Rings. This feels like a swords and sandals, not really swords and sandals, but like a big Viking epic. This feels, this is a really fun movie to watch. It may be bad, But it's more fun than the first Thor for me. I really like all the action in it. Malekith is a pretty rough villain. I definitely would not be surprised if there was a director's cut of the film. But I like the cut that we have. You know, it's fun, it's fine. It's like Guardians of the Galaxy. Really fun. And you know what? This is the film that really brought James Gunn back. Because I think before this, he was doing a lot more less-known films. But this is the film that got him back into the comic book game. And it's a really good movie. I really like this one. Captain America, the Winter Soldier. No offense, I actually don't like this one that much. Too political. Too grindy. Not grindy, but... yeah, too much of just kind of a dirty... not dirty... it's too much of a spy thing, I think. It isn't like Mission Impossible where there's a bunch of fun, you know, stunts and everything. I mean, it is a fun film, but there's definitely issues with it, to me. But not with Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, which just actually should have been with the first Guardians film, but whatever. Yeah, I like this one. Where'd I get this anyways? I think I got it online. Then you got Avengers Age of Ultron. I don't think it's that bad. I don't. I think it's stronger than some of the later MCU films, I'll say that much. Including Ant-Man 1, which I actually really like. I think I got this for a birthday present from someone. I do need to put in a better clamshell, though. But then you got Captain America Civil War. This is a great movie. I've seen it at least once or twice. Disc inside, everything you'd expect. Spider-Man Homecoming. Alright, so I have all these Marvel films on DVD, right? Well, I have Homecoming and Far From Home on Blu-ray, and I'll explain that in a minute. But here's Spider-Man Homecoming. I got this as an Amazon gift. Or, not an Amazon gift. Well, someone ordered it on Amazon for me as a Christmas present. Because the copy that I own had gotten stolen. But, no, what I was going to say here is the Blu-ray edition, the reason I own this is because for the longest time, these films weren't on Disney Plus, and they didn't have bonus features. Like, I don't even think they do now, and I wanted to access the deleted scenes and other material, so I just got a Blu-ray copy for a really cheap price, and was like, you know what, whatever. I'll have the Blu-ray versions of these. But here's the Blu-ray disc, and then there's the DVD behind there. And then you got Doctor Strange, the first one. I liked this film when I saw it. It was very trippy, it was very mystical, it was very creative, visually. But I think if I rewatched this now, I'd have issue with it. I probably wouldn't like it as much. And I think I had the same issue with Black Panther when I tried to rewatch it. It's not a bad film. I just haven't sat down and tried to actually rewatch it. I did see it, though. I did. And, yeah, it's a really good film. There's also Black Widow, which I really like. I've seen this film at least 2 or 3 times. The whole third act kind of falls apart, but I like everything they were going with up to that point. I really do. I think the villain that they chose was really appropriate for some of the things that have gone on in society. It's a really, you know, it's a villain that I think is very realistic. It is a very dangerous matter. And, you know, I like that it wasn't just a general bad guy. But the Taskmaster thing, look, I haven't read the comics. It could have been better. But just spraying red dust is very lame. Thor Ragnarok. Whatever, you know, I like this film. I'd love to do a mashup with Thor the Dark World and Thor Ragnarok, though I don't know how you do it. Oh, and the disc came out. Oh, that's not good. And thankfully it's not scratched up. Let me just put it back in there. Yeah, I like Thor Ragnarok. I like it more than, I don't like it more, but I enjoy it. Anyways, I like it more than Thor Love and Thunder, I'll say that, and, oh, we'll get to that film soon. Avengers Infinity War. This is a really good movie, and I like that the heroes lose at the end. Ant-Man and the Wasp. This is actually another really good film. Not as enjoyable as Infinity War Endgame, but it's definitely a fun little heist film that I got as a present. And then Avengers Endgame, which I think I picked up at Rasputin's Music. And you know what? This is the grand finale to the Marvel Cinematic Universe. At least to one part of it. But now, well, we got one more film and then we'll get into actual Phase 4 stuff. But we got Spider-Man Far From Home. And this is actually a really good movie. I really like this film. It's really fun. It's really emotional. I know some people have issue with it. The whole idea of him being like Tony Stark's basically apprentice. You know, whatever kind of thing. But still, it's really fun. It has cool deleted scenes on this Blu-ray. Like I said, I bought the Blu-ray just so I could have it like the others. Like Homecoming. And I haven't picked up No Way Home on Blu-ray yet, but I'm looking for it. Alright. Then you got the Phase 4 and Phase 5 stuff. And this is in timeline order still. But we're going to start off with a banger. Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. For being the very first film that is meant to take place after, like, Infinity War wrapped up, you know, not counting Black Widow because that's technically a prequel, for being the very first new original story, this film is amazing. This is a action-packed kung fu superhero movie, and I love it. And I'm actually really excited for the idea of a Shang-Chi 2. I don't know when it's happening. There have been rumors of dates. I just want to know whenever it's coming. Then you got the Eternals, which, this is a film that I know a lot of people kind of just didn't care about. I like how epic it is. It feels like a Zack Snyder epic. I like the different style and visual, but it definitely could have been better. And I totally get why they don't want to do it again, because people didn't like it. But I guess I wasn't one of those people. Alright, now we got the billion-dollar maker. Spider-Man No Way Home. This film, in the time it was released, which was during Phase 4, kind of the start of the troubling phase for Marvel, this film had no right to be as good as it was, or to be the story that it was. They could have simply done like a Kraven the Hunter, or maybe a Venom film, but what they set out to do wrapped up the Infinity Saga arc for Peter Parker, added in some multiversal elements, added in Doctor Strange magic. It is a great movie that only really stumbles when it's trying to set up things at the very beginning. But the little stumbles it makes, it pays for it in the second and third act. Like, this film is insane. I honestly do not want them ruining it. I really want Marvel to keep Spider-Man on this arc. I really like No Way Home, though. As did, like, a ton of other people, because it made so much money. Thor Love and Thunder. This exists. You know, it does exist. But it's terrible. Black Panther Wakanda Forever. Another film like No Way Home. You know, every film in 2022, Marvel-wise, I didn't like. Except for Black Panther Wakanda Forever. I mean, I enjoyed Thor Love and Thunder, but I hated Doctor Strange too. But like I said, Wakanda Forever is a great movie. It is. It had to deal with a lot, and it does fall on its face when it's trying to do the Ironheart stuff. It does struggle. Not because of the character of Ironheart inherently, just because it's in a Black Panther movie and they're trying to tell this different story. It does feel tacked on. But still, it's a really great movie, and I really like it, and I need to watch it again. Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania. Oh, this film has gotten torn to pieces online. Oh my goodness, this film was torn through the ditch. But you know what? I don't care. It's a fun movie. It's trying to set up the bigger picture, which didn't really work out well for them, but I do appreciate that they were trying to take Ant-Man out of the little leagues. They were trying to make him be a bigger character, make his movies more important, and I like it. I just don't know if it was the best idea for the character, but still, I enjoyed it. And Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. This is a great movie. There are some twists and turns that I didn't expect. My only complaint, no casualties. Basically, everyone lived at the end of it. That's my only issue with this film, that I think someone shouldn't have, in order to kind of, like, solidify fate. Not solidify, but make it more tragic. But at the same time, it gets away from, you know, what could have been a cliche ending. I like it. I actually didn't see that one in theaters, though. I'll talk about which ones I did see in theaters, but finally, we have the Marvels. This one is terrible. Me, as someone wanting to become a film editor, felt spots in the movie where it could have been edited better. All the rumors of reshoots and everything do not help the look of this movie. It financially flopped. Yeah, it's not a good film, but I have it, because I'm trying to be a completionist. And now, for the time where I go through all the Marvel movies I've seen in the actual timeline. So, I know I saw Captain Marvel in theaters. I know I think it was just Captain Marvel at first, but then I went ahead and I saw No Way Home. I also saw Shang-Chi, Black Panther 2, Ant-Man 3, and The Marvels, all in cinemas. Oh, and Thor Love and Thunder and Doctor Strange 2. There might have been one or two other films. I didn't really get into the MCU until after Infinity War had ended. So I was a late joiner in the MCU hype train, but still, you got some great movies. And that's going to be it for part 1 and 2 of my superhero movie collection. Meet you guys in the next video for part 3. Peace!